Welcome to Aslan Speaks. I'm your host, the Aslan. Yep. Welcome to this is episode 20, The Secret Teachings of Jesus. Before I begin this lesson, I have to let you know that this video may trigger some of you, especially those who grew up in a certain denomination of church or Christian or were taught a certain form of Christianity. This might trigger you. So if you're one of those people who can get easily triggered, maybe it's okay for you to turn this video off. It might not be meant for you. But for those who have an open mind and are seeking spiritual truths or spiritual truth, then keep an open mind and check out this video. And if you disagree with this video, I ask that you do not attack or write nasty comments or messages. This truth or this information I'm going to share with you today is my truth. It might not be your truth, but do not judge me because my information doesn't resonate with you. Thank you. Now, these teachings I'm about to share with you are from years and years of studying the teachings of Jesus and seeking spiritual knowledge. The information I'm about to share is from my own perspective. It's from my own perspective. It's my own opinion. And I'm not all knowing. I could have it wrong or I could have it right. It's up to you. And with anything, use your own discernment. Your discernment is your spiritual power, basically, that is a gift from God. It's God-given, the gift of discernment. Use it. You'll know if what I speak resonates or does not resonate. So let's begin. Are you guys ready for this? Are you ready for this? All right. Why do I call this episode The Secret Teachings of Jesus? Well, can I let you in on a secret? The secret teachings of Jesus are not secret. That's right. A lot of the teachings of Jesus are out there. If you seek them hard enough or actually do your own research, you can find them. But many don't even take the time to learn these teachings. Or when they were young, they might have learned these teachings, but have forgotten them or forgot to practice them. So at some point in this video, I will get to the secret teachings. But for right now, I gotta give you a little reference. So we have all fallen short of the glory of God. That's what we are led to believe, that we've all fallen short. Maybe we haven't all fallen short of the glory of God. That maybe the glory of God belongs to all of us. So it says we have all fallen short of the glory of God. What does this mean? I say we have the glory of God, but some people, to some people it means that we have allowed ourselves to stray from the path or from the righteous path, or we've strayed from learning and loving God, learning to know God or loving God. We've strayed from that path. We've strayed from the path of righteousness. Have you strayed from the path of righteousness? Another form of this is that we've strayed from the path we've strayed from the teachings of Jesus. And sadly, we have, at least through my perspective and from my view of the world, as many, especially in America, have strayed from seeking out God or walking with Jesus and living by Jesus' example. We spend more time on our cell phones. Do you spend more time on your cell phone? We spend more time binge watching our favorite TV show. We spend more time drinking and partying and seeking materialism than we do seeking God or the divine. It's the sad truth for most people anyway, or through my perspective. I see people spend, sometimes an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours on that device in your hand with that screen on certain apps or games than they do seeking out God. And it's kind of sad. It is. It's really sad, especially if for me being a spiritual person and learning to, I'm still in the path of awakening, but I've awakened to enough where I see things with my spiritual eyes. I hear things with my spiritual ears. So I see the world in a different perspective. And when I see people unplugged from God or the divine, and they're so lost in that cell phone or that TV show that they don't even know God's love, it's sad. I'm here to share with you. This video is all about helping you find the divine within yourself. It's all about helping you find God, or what is God. Help you find God. That what is God to you. It's all a matter of perspective. So, in a way, we have been corrupted by materialism and money. Yes, materialism and money. We're so busy chasing things and objects and money that we have forgotten the reasons why we're here on this planet. We have forgotten our sole purpose or our sole mission. Why are you here on this planet? Ask yourself that. What is my purpose on this planet? Why am I here? Those are very important questions. Have you figured out those questions and what they mean to you, or what your answers to those questions are? One of the things I discovered is one of our greatest purposes on this earth is to reconnect to God, to reconnect to source energy, to tap into the divineness that we are. But many have lost their way. Even I have lost my way from time to time, and I still lose my way. I'm a very spiritual person. I try to live spiritual, or live Jesus' teachings daily, almost minute by minute, hour by hour, every week by week. But sometimes I get lost. Sometimes I get pulled into that, 4 or 5 hours of binge watching TV, and I forget. Or sometimes I fall into my lower nature. I've been guilty of drinking and partying. We're all learning and trying to become the best versions of ourselves, but sometimes we fall into our lower nature. It's okay. It is. It's okay. The important thing is, when you fall, you got to get back up. Yes. When you fall, you got to get back up. And stop beating yourself up. We all make mistakes. So how have you lost your way? Ask your question. That question to you. Have you lost your way, and how? So one of the biggest things that led us astray, that many people are unaware of, is the worshiping of false idols. You're probably like, what? I don't worship false idols. The worshiping of false idols is one of the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not worship false idols. Do you worship a false idol? Many would say, no, I don't do that. But I like to beg to differ. I've been guilty of, in a way, worshiping false idols, and I didn't even know it. That's how subtle it is. And I'll explain the worshiping of false idols here briefly. But first, I want to talk about a book called Hidden Knowledge, Gained Insight by Eric Johnson. And I'll put the book right here. And this book has a chapter that dives very deeply in false idols and the worshiping of false idols, and how we're unaware that we worship false idols. So let me ask you a simple question. Are you ready for this question? What do you spend more of your time doing? Do you spend more time thinking about God and Jesus and walking the spiritual path? Or do you spend more time thinking and chasing money, or thinking about how you're going to spend money? You can look at money as a false idol. In a way, on this planet, or at least in America, the average human being in America, at least that through my perspective, puts more value in money than they do God. They spend more hours of the day thinking about how they're going to gain money, how they're going to spend the money, and thinking about just basically money in general than they do about spiritual truths or God. For the love of money is the root of all evil. For the love of money is the root of all evil. What do you love more? The love of money or the love in God? These are questions you got to ask yourself, especially if you're seeking spiritual truth and awakening. Let me ask you another question. Do you spend more time praising your favorite football team or favorite player than you do God? You know, there's some people that I've come across that all they do, especially when NFL season comes around, that's all they talk about. They know every player, every number, and it's like almost like you've heard that saying that football is a religion to them. In America, we idolize our favorite team or our favorite player. It's almost like we put them up on a pedestal. It's like we're worshiping them. This is just, something I want to point out to people's attention. Some people put more praise in their favorite football player than they do God or even seeking Jesus. They put more attention in that NFL sports team than they do reading the Bible. Let me ask you another question. Why is that most NFL games are on Sundays? Let me re-ask that question. Why are most NFL games on Sundays? What else is Sunday supposed to represent? Especially for Christians. What is Sunday supposed to represent for Christians? That Sunday is on the seventh day God rested. So on Sundays, in Christianity, or in the Christian faith, Sunday is the day we worship God and put our attention and focus in loving God. But you can't do that. You can't put all your attention loving God or focusing and worshiping God if you're distracted by the NFL game. That's just some food for thought, guys. Food for thought. To shine a light on the NFL in a different perspective. That competition, like I used to love sports and all that I still like them, but I see it through a different perspective now. I still like sports, but I no longer give my soul over to it, and I no longer worship it or put it on a pedestal. In a way, that competition, or I don't know how to explain it. Like competition thinking divides us. It takes away from our spiritual truths. Like you watch sports like the UFC where people beat up each other. I used to love that. Now I look at it and I can't even stand it because it's not in my nature no more. So a lot of it is to keep us distracted from our divineness. Keep us distracted from God. So you can't. There's another one for false idols. Well, many of us have favorite celebrities. When I was a kid, mine was Michael Jordan. Some people have favorite celebrities and they follow all their work. They want to be like them. They buy all their products. They dress like them. They talk like them. They idolize them. People can be false idols. So what do I mean by all this, bringing up the false idol stuff? We got to be careful what we put our attention and energy in, because it stops us or keeps us distracted from God. It keeps us from God's love. Some of us on this planet are so lost. Why are we so lost? Because we're on a path that is leading us to our own destruction. Wide is the path that leads you to destruction, and narrow is the path to righteousness. Well, the wide path is materialism. It's that partying. It's that wide's the path is your lower nature, your lower self, your undivine self. The wide path is you not being tapped into your soul. The narrow path is you being tapped into your soul. The narrow path is long and difficult, because to walk the spiritual path is hard, because you got to give up all that pleasure, all that stuff that's in your lower nature. So be careful. Just be careful, guys. Be careful what you put your time and energy into. Be mindful. Choose to wear see the world through your spiritual self, through your spiritual eyes, through your spiritual ears. View the world through discernment. In today's modern society, we put so much time and energy into so we do all this. So I'm rambling a little bit. And I kind of fumbled a little bit, but a lot of people unknowingly praise and worship false idols. So we got to learn to stop seeking materialism and money, and learn to start seeking God, seeking God's love. So many don't realize that we have been brainwashed and manipulated to turn away from God or from seeking the divine. So I talk about the false idols. There's some say there's a verse in the Bible. Our fight is against something I might mess this verse up. I'm going off the top of my head, but our fight is not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and evil in high places. We as Christians, or not even Christians, but spiritual people, we got to start viewing the world and start seeing that for a while our world has been corrupted and manipulated by, I don't even want to give them power. By speaking their name, you give them power. I'm not going to do that. Because I know my own power, my light within me, your light within you outshines the darkness. And that's what we're going through, is to awaken to the divineness, to awaken to find God. Because for a while there's been these principalities and evil in high places that have been running and controlling people. And how they control people is through money, through greed, through lust, gluttony, the 7 deadly sins. And they've been slowly controlling and manipulating mankind. That's why all this stuff is put in place, like to control and manipulate us from not seeking out God. But if you seek out God, they lose the power, because we empower ourselves. They don't want, some of these forces out there don't want you to tap into your divineness, my friends. So why was Jesus sent here? Jesus was here to free us, to give us back our power. The reason Jesus chose to teach us, he chose to teach us that we can all walk the path of righteousness, that we all can find God. Ain't that cool? I think it is, at least through my opinion. That once we start walking the path of righteousness and seeking out God, we realize that we have been led astray in some aspects. That was me. I didn't realize how far I went down the rabbit hole, so to speak, chasing drugs and alcohol and doing things in my lower nature, until I started seeking the path of righteousness, learning about spiritual knowledge, to begin to awaken and to enlighten myself, to get out of the darkness, so to speak, and to go towards the light. So before I go any deeper, before I dive deeper into the secret teachings of Jesus, I want to share with you one thing, that I was divinely inspired to share this video with you. That I wrote a script, or some, I'm reading off a script, but some of the script I go off of just freestyle, where I read some of the script and then I talk as well. And that's coming from, I call it the Holy Spirit within me, the divineness within me. I'm tapping into my higher self, speaking to you to share wisdom and knowledge. So now that I got that out of the way, I want to explain how Jesus's teachings and the Bible have been manipulated and changed over and over again. And for some Christians, that might offend you. What? They changed the Bible? No, the Bible is law. That every verse and every word in it is perfect. You got to understand that some of those teachings in that Bible was over 2,000 years ago. And over 2,000 years ago in Jesus's time, how things weren't really written down. Everything was passed on orally through the word of mouth. So Jesus did something, and then someone told that story of what Jesus did, and then they told it to the generation, and then they told it to the next generation. And sometimes, like, people exaggerate in stories. I've been guilty of it. So somebody caught a small fish. They caught a fish this small. Next thing you know, 4 months later, the fish is this big. It's giant. It's a whale. So you got to understand, 2,000 years ago, everything was passed down through word of mouth. And then it was written down in a certain language. And then it was translated in that language. And then it was rewritten in another language. And so over time, that our Bible has been manipulated. And then not only that, there's certain books that were purposely left out of the Bible. So they're known as the Gnostic texts. Some of those Bibles some of those books that were left out are actually powerful. And who chose? I believe they were called the Council of Nicaea, where Constantine basically said, "These are the books I like, and these are the books I don't like." So the Bible has been manipulated by man. For those who have eyes to see, let them see. For those who have ears, let them hear. You want to see and hear with your spiritual eyes. You'll understand when you read Bible verses and hear someone preach to you. If you're if you tap into your own divineness, you can understand and know the truth. Certain verses, certain scripts don't resonate with you because they're probably most likely were manipulated by man. So as I was stating, the Bible and Jesus' teachings has been manipulated and changed over and over again. For hundreds and hundreds of years, the Catholic Roman Church used Christianity to control and manipulate the people. At least that's in my opinion. If you do your research, just do your own research on the Catholic Roman Church and dive deep into that. I'm not going to tell you everything. You got to do your own research. You got to understand the Catholic Roman Church was so powerful that it had, back hundreds of years, it controlled most of the banking system for the known world back then in Europe. It also had more power over the kings and queens of Europe. So they have, so this is why we are so confused and don't know what path to take. That's why many of us who are seeking spiritual truth or even Christians sometimes feel lost. There are many Christians out there that even I've come across in life that been Christian and grew up in the church their whole life, but yet they feel lost because they don't know what to believe. Some of the people that are teaching them, the priests or pastors that are teaching them about God's love, doesn't exhibit God's love, but all they do is they send out, put in their face that collection plate. Here, if you love God, fill up this collection plate. And then they use that money for their own selfish purposes. It's a lot to think about. But they are really good pastors and priests. I don't want to judge them all because there are very good, loving people out there. But we feel lost. We don't know who or what to believe in. Because man, who is corruptible, has manipulated the teachings of the Bible for hundreds of years. Look at all the wars in biblical times, or even a couple hundred years ago, the kings fighting like the battle for Jerusalem, when the Catholics or Christianity fought for Jerusalem in God's name and killed hundreds of people. I'll just dwell on that. I don't want to dive deeper because I could get lost in certain topics, and I want to get to the main message of this video. So, for example of manipulation, this is a very important one. Most Christians don't even use Jesus' real name. What? Jesus is Jesus. That's what I thought. For 25 something years, when I would pray, I'd pray to Jesus. Well, Jesus is just the English interpretation of Jesus' real name. Do you want to know what Jesus' real name is? Yeshua Benjamin Joseph. Yeshua. They called him Yeshua. So for hundreds of years, when we were being taught Christianity, we say Jesus this, Jesus that. We're not even saying his real name. It was Yeshua. Yeshua Benjamin Joseph. What did his mother Mary call Jesus? She called her son Yeshua. What did the disciples call Jesus at that time? Yeshua. The Roman general that had crucified him, Pontius Pilate. He wasn't known to Jesus. He was just known as Jesus at that time. He was known as Yeshua Benjamin Joseph. So why? So that just shows you the manipulation, that how easily we were led astray. How hard is it? They could have just spelled Yeshua in the Bible, and for hundreds of years, before he even came over to America, we've been using Jesus. But his real name, a name gives a person a power. Like your name is unique to you, that gives you power. And we haven't even been using, when we pray, we're praying to you're not even saying his name correctly. Yeshua Benjamin Joseph. So for purposes of this video, I'm going to refer to Jesus by his real name that was given to him by birth as Yeshua. So here is the secret teachings. Yep, I'm done rambling on. I'm going to get to the main message of this video. This is the main message, guys. This is the secret teachings of Yeshua Benjamin Joseph. So I want you to understand the man, Yeshua. Have you noticed I called him a man? I didn't say son of God or the chosen one. I said, understand the man, Yeshua. If anybody does any real research, they will discover that Yeshua taught that we're all sons and daughters of God. Guys, that's crucial. Very crucial. Yeshua taught that we're all sons and daughters of God. Yes, Yeshua was special, but we all are special. Yeshua was divine. He was a son of God. But we too are sons and daughters of God. We too are divine. That's what Yeshua was trying to teach all those years ago. He wasn't trying to disempower, but he was trying to empower the people. Us, you, me. But somewhere in time, we began to worship him like God. That he was the one and only special one. Yeshua didn't want to be worshipped like a god. Yeshua came here to teach us that he and the Father are one, meaning that he and God are one. Yeshua was trying to teach us that all humans, or you, can be one with the Father. That I am one with the Father. You can be one with the Father. That we're all sons and daughters of God. That we can all tap into the divineness. The biggest secret that modern Christianity has kept from us is the belief that the divine is separate from you. That's one of the biggest secrets that modern Christianity has kept from us. That the God is separate from us. Growing up in the Christian faith, I was led to believe that God was some old white bearded man up in the clouds, and that I would pray up to him. But that was all a lie, at least through my perspective. That we were taught that God's up there, and that we had to go to a church or a priest for answers. They had the answers to God, or in order to reach God, you have to go there. But this is a lie, because they wanted us under certain powers to be, wanted us underneath, or certain religions want us under their thumbs. The big churches want us under their control. We have to go to them. We have to pay them to help us get closer to God, but that's not the truth. The truth is that God is not separate from you, my friends. Let me repeat that. God is not separate from you. God is within you. God is all around you. We're all sons and daughters of God. It's a very powerful statement. Say that to yourself. I am a son. I am a daughter of God. I am divine. Yeshua was my brother. I love that. How empowered do you feel when you realize Yeshua wasn't separate? Yeshua wasn't the only special one. Well, yes, he was special in his way because he tapped into the divineness. He was one with the Father. But he taught that we too can be one with the Father. And when you realize all this knowledge, it's like, yes, I'm empowered again. I don't feel lost no more because I am a son. I am a daughter of God. Yeshua's life and the way he lived his life was an example that we could all learn to walk in his shoes. There's so many people who are Christians but do not walk in Yeshua's shoes or Jesus' shoes. They know about Jesus. I have to say Jesus because some people don't resonate with because they use the word Jesus so long that that's what they resonate with. But Yeshua, Jesus, was the way shower. He wanted us to learn that you too can be the Son of God or walk in his shoes. But so many people know the teachings, know the Bible, but only choose to be Christian on Sundays or when they go to church. To be a spiritual person or to be a godly, loving person, you got to walk that, talk that every day. You got to live it. You are capable of doing great things just like Yeshua. Yeshua wanted to empower the people. That is why his teachings back then were so dangerous and so upsetting to the power structures. And that's why he was so feared back then. Because he was empowering the people. He was teaching all the secret mystery schools back then and all the ancient knowledge back then that were kept secret. He was teaching the people for free. What I'm doing to you now. And one of the biggest secret was that we're all divine. That we're not separate from God. And when we tap into that, then we are empowered. And then we take back our power. Instead of empowering others and then they use it to control and manipulate us, we take back our power. And then we start making better, empowered decisions in our life. We are all special. We are all sons and daughters of God. I repeat this over and over, but I wanted to sink into your brain. Yeshua wanted us to know, or that he taught us, that we can connect to God. We too can connect with the divine. We can tap into the divineness within ourselves. We don't have to go and seek God from a pastor or a church or a certain religious sect. We could find God on our own. We could seek God on our own. So I talk about, so these are all kind of things that Jesus taught, but here's the ultimate teachings that, here's the ultimate secret teachings, basically, from my perspective. There are basically two secret teachings that one must truly embody when seeking the spiritual path and when seeking enlightenment. If you embody these two secret teachings of Jesus, you'll be so much closer to awakening. 1, do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. This is known as the golden rule. Many people know this, but do they really practice this? Do you really practice this? Every day, every moment, every person you interact with, every decision that you make, do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. Number 2, love the Lord thy God with all your heart, mind, and soul. And the second is like it, love thy neighbor as thyself. Number 2, I'm going to repeat that. Love thy Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. And the second is like it, love thy neighbor as thyself. This is also known as the greatest commandment. I love that. This is known as the greatest commandment, but why is it left out of the 10 commandments? Our whole lives, most Christians have grown up with the 10 commandments. I didn't learn about the greatest commandment until I was like 14 or 15. So for years, I didn't even know nothing about love the Lord thy God with all your heart, mind, soul, and body. And the second is like it, love thy neighbor as thyself. And some Christians still don't even know that verse. You know, it's funny when I like to test people. There's many people that come up to my door and try to share God's word with me. And the first thing I ask them, what is the greatest commandment? And most will start saying one of the 10 commandments. They don't even know the secret to the greatest commandment is love thy Lord thy God. So have you figured it out yet? Yes. Have you figured it out yet, guys? The secret, the ultimate secret. That's why it's so simple. It's super simple. The secret is love. If you start researching the Bible, and most of Jesus' teachings, it was love based. I would almost, go through the whole Bible and just anything that's loving, every teaching that's loving, and that's what I would go by. And then erase everything else. Love is the secret. To live in love, to treat all people in a loving manner, to embody love, to love animals, plants, trees, insects, to love everything that dwells on this earth, to love everything in a loving manner. And that's kind of hard for us to do. Some of us, even like if we disagree, it's just hard for us to do. We got to live in love. We got to embody love. So let's talk about love for a second. Yes, some of us think we know love, but do we really know love? There's unconditional love, and then there is conditional love. And most of us think we're unconditional, but no, we are placing conditions on our love. Our goal is to love someone or everything unconditionally, without placing our judgment or expectations on people or things. But sadly, we don't do this. We love our children. We all love our children until they go against our rules or do something bad. And then we don't love them no more. We take back our love until they place our conditions on them and say, you got to do this, this, and this, and then I'll love you again. I don't love you because you trashed your room. You're a messy person. Blah, blah, blah. There's so many things. And until they meet your conditions. Oh, you met my conditions. You cleaned your room. You're behaving. I love you again. You're placing conditions on your child instead of loving them unconditionally. This happens also in many romantic partnerships where you love your partner, but the minute they go against one of your beliefs or does something to upset you, you withdraw your love. And you don't talk to them, you ignore them, or you treat them like crap until they meet your conditions or your expectations, and then you love them again. True love, guys, is unconditional. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that we shall not perish but have an eternal life. Jesus was taught, that's other teachings, that we are immortal, we have eternal life. God loved us. He sent his Son. His Son, our brother, Yeshua, passed away so that we could learn these truths. And what do we do? We do not honor God's what God sent us. We don't live we don't walk in Yeshua's shoes. We don't live by example. We got to learn to be loving and kind to all. So, what resonates with you guys? It's time as a human race to learn to be loving in all subjects. We got to stop placing our judgment and beliefs on people. We got to stop forcing our ideas and expectations onto others who do not resonate with us. There's many people out there that they don't resonate with me. Their beliefs or ideas or what they know goes against everything that I am. But I do not walk up to them and just like, you need to live your life like this. I don't place judgment on them. I love them, or I try my best to love them, and just realize that they too are sons and daughters of God. And let them walk their own path. You can still love them, but let them walk their own path. I hope this is helpful, guys. So the secret teaching to Jesus is love. Do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. Love thy Lord thy God with all their heart, mind, soul, and soul. And the second is love it. The second is like it, love thy neighbor. Learn to love thy neighbor. Learn to live lovingly. Learn to be kind in every thought and action. When you get angry at somebody and you're about to lash out anger, stop yourself and just be like, what would I do if I was in a loving space in my mind right now? I'd walk away. When you are about, there's so much, guys. I could go on and on about this video. So I'm going to end it here. I hope this video is helpful. And I hope you like and subscribe and share. You know, if this touched your soul or in spirit, I want to help others. And for all those Christians out there that are feeling lost or beat themselves up because they feel like they are not tapping in or doing their Christian duties, don't beat yourself up. Sometimes we have to get lost to be found again. Woo! That's a good one. I'm going to repeat that. That just came to me. Sometimes we have to be lost to be found again. We got to find that divineness within us, to tap into our divine selves, to find God within ourselves. God's not separate from us, guys. With all that, God bless you. And I wish you the best. Like and subscribe. Thank you, guys. Amen.